Blog Talk Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome former WCW star, former five-time WCW Tag Team Champion. He's buff, he's tough, he's the stuff, and the girls just can't get enough. Bad Buff Bagwell.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, how are you doing, Buff?
I'm doing real good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's great to have you on the show today. Great for you to be a part of the show.
Absolutely. My pleasure, bud. My pleasure.
I have a message for you from Mr. Bill After. He said to tell you hello.
Wow, that goes way back. He's a great guy, man. Yeah, he. A lot of people don't know that he's as big and bad of a man as he is. He actually is the creator of The Handsome Stranger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's who thought of and created the Handsome Stranger character back in the global days, and was responsible for coming up with that.
That is awesome.
And let me restate that. I mean, I'm not 1,000% sure of that. I'm 99.9% sure of it. Me and him have never talked about it, but I've said it several times, and people have confirmed it. But during those days, Bill, Joe Pedicino, a lady that it kills me, I can't remember her name because she was so sweet, was running the Global
Bonnie
Federation.
Blackstone?
No, not Bonnie. That was Joe's wife.
Okay.
But no, this is a woman that bought Global, that was paying the bills, that came into the Dallas Sportatorium and literally, repainted it, refixed it up, made it nice, cleaned the locker rooms up for us, and she was responsible for the GWF. She was solely the money behind it, and I was so young. I was only 19. That was 27 years ago. I don't remember her name, but super, super great lady. She thought the world of me. I thought the world of her, and the company. Wrestling is just a very, very expensive business. And she just ran out of money. But during that process, Bill Eadie, I was told, is the one who thought of my Handsome Stranger character.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, Buff. Before we get into the interview, we got a caller on queue that I believe might have a question for you.
All right.
Okay. Well, they just dropped, so they just hung up. I guess they didn't have a question. Growing up, you were a standout baseball player. Did you dream of being a baseball player, and how did your dream change to becoming a wrestler?
My dream as a child was definitely, or as adolescent, was definitely something sports related for sure. I was going to be a pro athlete in something. There was no doubt. I had two older brothers, and really all three of us had the ability that we were, one of us, if not all three, were going to definitely be a pro baseball, football, or some kind of athlete. Nobody thought wrestling at the time, but we were going to be pro baseball or football. My oldest brother had a full ride at Tennessee. My middle brother tried out for the Atlanta Braves AA team and made it. And
wow.
The problem happened that's good and bad is our parents were filthy rich. So my oldest brother, has a full ride to Tennessee. He moves him and his wife. My parents move him and his wife up to Tennessee with a full ride. He's second string freshman. He can go up to Tennessee, go to school, and be a second string freshman, or he can come home and work for the lumber yard and be a millionaire. My middle brother could have been on the AA baseball team, making $800 a week, riding bus to bus, team to team, game to game, trying to make it in the pros, or come home and be a millionaire. So, and I had the same exact thing happen to me. My senior year, where my brothers had already been working at the lumber yard for 5 and 7 years, I graduate and my parents go broke. So I graduate with a 1.8 grade point average and didn't really care about going to college or pursuing pro baseball or football, because I did find I probably had a chance at maybe baseball. I tore my hamstring muscle my junior year, and I tore it really bad. The only reason I know this word is because I tore it. But you got 3 hamstrings. Those 3 hamstrings come up to a bone. That bone attaches to your pelvis. That bone that attaches to your pelvis is called an ischial tuberosity. Believe it or not, look it up. Anybody's listening. Ischial tuberosity is the name of it. I ripped that bone off of my pelvis my junior year in football. So my entire junior year was shot, and I was a step slow my senior year. So football was definitely gone. Baseball, I focused on baseball, and once again had the mentality of I was going to work for my parents' lumberyard. And my senior year, they go broke, and all of a sudden it's like, well, what are we going to do now? So my brother wished he would have stayed at Tennessee. My middle brother wished he would have stayed on the Atlanta Braves AA team. I wish. I really didn't have nothing to wish, because mine just happened at a bad time. So my dad had a little bit of money to get each one of us going into something. My oldest brother chose a gym. My middle brother chose a drywall company, and I chose massage therapy. I wanted to be some kind of sports something, so I was going to be a sports trainer, some kind of sports trainer. Massage therapy goes from massage therapy to sports massage to whatever it could be, and it would lead to a sports trainer with no schooling, and you could work your way up that way. And that was my idea at 18 years old. Who knows what they really wanted at 18. So that's the route I went, and 9 months later, through 9 months of schooling, I graduate, and I am a licensed, as we speak, Marcus Buff Bagwell is a licensed massage therapist. I graduated the Atlanta School of Massage. Yes, I graduated the Atlanta School of Massage and go and start being a massage therapist. Women would walk in, see me, and cancel. So what I thought would be all of my attributes, which is nice, humble, young, in shape, attractive, Southern, manners, all these qualities that I had that I thought would work for me were dead against me, because women would walk in, see me, and absolutely cancel on the spot. So 9 months of school, $10,000 totally flushed down the drain, and I'm depressed about it, but I meet Missy Hyatt. I meet Missy Hyatt, I get trained, and 26 years later, we're doing a podcast.
That is an incredible story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Indeed. Speaking of stories, well, I heard the story on the road, traveling in the business with your buddies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How you got your name at WCW in 1991 when you first got that. And it was a very interesting story. Dusty was doing the booking, God rest his soul. and they sent you home for 3 weeks. I want to hear this story for you. I think it would be very interesting to the fans, and I want to see if it coincides with what I heard.
Now, which name are you talking about? The Buck name?
Marcus Alexander Bagwell, your name.
How that happened was I walked in here, Global Wrestling Federation. I was the handsome stranger. They called me up, and they've been two guys signed to contracts, the Patriot and Raven, which was Scott Anthony, the Palm Beach heartthrob at Global. I was going to be the third guy signed to a contract. They called me up, and I think it was Bill Eadie. Bill Eadie called me up, pretty sure, and he said, "Hey, Buff, hey, Mark, we're not going to be, we're not going to be able to carry on, but we're going to try to keep it going. We're not going to be able to put guys under contracts yet, but you're going to be the next one we do. Or we got another TV taping this week." Well, then I got a call back from them basically saying it was over, nicely. They were going to do another TV taping to finish out their contract they had with ESPN, but they were legally done. So I am sitting at home trying to figure out what I'm going to do for a job, and my phone rings, and Magnum TA calls me, and I didn't know who Magnum TA was. I was a wrestling fan as a kid, but I didn't really watch my latter years and didn't really know what that was. And I mean, I heard of it and all that, but he said Magnum. It just kind of caught me off guard. Here I am depressed about Global going down. And I said, Magnum? Magnum who? He said, Magnum TA. And I went, oh, my God. I said, oh, I'm sorry, brother. I said, I'm so sorry. He goes, hey, Dusty wants a meeting with you. I said, okay. So I get on my best suit and tie, and I head down there to the North Towers of WCW where they were at the CNN Center, and get down there, and Dusty has a meeting with me, and basically he wants me to go finish those two last tapings and come back. And I said, Dusty, please, man, just let me, just hire me, man. Don't make me go back, And he actually looks at me and says, I love you. He goes, you got the prettiest teeth I've ever seen in my life. And I said, dude, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And he goes, you know what? You're hired, bro. Don't worry about it. We'll hire you. And I said, all right. So they hired me to a $500 a week, which is a lot of money for me back then still. $500 a week, go to wrestling school contract. So the first thing I say is, well, what are we going to call me at the meeting? What's my name going to be? Now, keep in mind, one of my best friends was Johnny B. Bad. And this is when gimmicks were over. I mean, gimmicks were popular. I mean, Van Hammer, cool, really cool names, And all of a sudden he said, we're going to use your real name. And I went, what? I said, Dusty, please, no, let's think of some kind of ad. And he goes, well, do you have any ideas? I said, what about the Handsome Stranger? Let's go with that. Well, Bill Eadie, or whoever owned the rights to that, did not want to sell it to WCW, so that was gone. So when I first came out, I said, please, Dusty, don't call me, don't do this, don't do it. I don't want my regular name. It's just not cool. I mean, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, that's not cool. It's not cool, Dusty. Please don't. And sure enough, it wasn't a big issue because I was just on a wrestling contract. So I go to wrestling school, trying to think of a name, not really thinking nothing about it. 3 days at school, and Barry Windham blows his knee out. And they come to me, and I'm instantly on the road. And needless to say, I never went back to wrestling school. I was instantly over, knew what I was doing, good in the ring. Global had taught me a lot. I had learned from a lot of great wrestlers like Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Scotty the Body, which was Raven. I mean, Patriot. Some great workers were out there. A lot of good old-timers were out there, too, that were good. And I learned a tremendous amount about wrestling while I was in Global for that 3 or 4 months. So I was ready. And as soon as they put me on in the matches, I was good enough to to keep on the road. They hired me, and Rhubarb Jones, and I'm pretty sure y'all don't know that name, but Rhubarb Jones, if you know that name.
Oh yeah, I remember Rhubarb Jones.
Yeah, he was very popular on the radio at the time, and he was WCW's ring announcer, if you do your homework, back in the early 90s. And I remember my first match was with Rip Rogers, and I still didn't quite know what they were going to call me. So I go out and wrestle Rip Rogers. I win the match, and when I come out of the ring, the Rhubarb Jones goes, and the winner of the match is Mark Alexander Bagwell, and it didn't sound good. And so I went straight to Dusty, and I said, Dusty, I hate it. I'm pissed off. I'm PO'd about it. I said, but to be honest with you, if you're going to do it, my name is Marcus Alexander Bagwell, and it flows better, sounds better. So I went with Marcus Alexander Bagwell, which is my real name, and my parents loved it, and I hated it. But I found out that if you could become over and popular as your own boring self, it sticks for life. And that's what happened with me. People remember Marcus Alexander Bagwell because he was that young kid that was on pro wrestling and one of the first young kids ever to do it. And he actually made it and wrestled those big stallion dudes and won and fought, and Sting helped him. And it was just a heck of a storyline, you know. And so people got behind me. And then later on, when NWO happened, is when I thought the Buff character up. And Nick Patrick is who thought of that name.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Buff, I've got a little surprise for you. We're gonna have a reunion. We're gonna have a reunion here on the show.
Okay.
I have one of your former tag team partners joining the show today. I'm gonna welcome on right now, Mr. Del Wilkes, the Patriot.
All right.
Boy, that handsome stranger fella's got some pretty teeth, don't he?
What's going on, big man?
How you doing, brother? Good to be on with you. How you doing?
Absolutely, man. Gosh, lately, it's really weird. I was telling somebody just the other day, Dale, about us being as weird as it is. I mean, here I was, the handsome stranger. You were the Patriot. We didn't even hardly know each other except just, through Global. But who would have ever known that we would have met up at WCW and became tag team partners, much less world tag team champions twice. So pretty crazy story, and here it is, 20 years later, and we're on the same podcast. So that's pretty crazy.
Well, as they say, it's a small world, and that applies in the wrestling business as well. You're exactly right. We barely knew each other in Dallas, working for Global, but then a few years down the road, we're put together in a tag team, and a very successful tag team, in my opinion. Did a lot of great things.
Yeah, very successful tag team. One of my favorite ones of all time, and I thought it was real great, and we had it down, and it just worked. It just worked very good. I remember one of my favorite matches of all time was when we won the first belts we won was against Paul Roma and Mr. Wonderful
Paul Orndorff.
Thank you, Orndorff. And they were called Pretty Wonderful was their names. And it was Jacksonville, Florida, and it was at the Clash of Champions, which is our biggest show back then. And me and Dale actually won the World Tag Team titles for the first time that night. And we really, really had some great matches with those guys and went all across the world fighting with those guys and had great matches all across it. But a tag team is something that really people really don't give enough credit to. It's very hard because there's so many different brains that are going different directions in a wrestling match. When you got a tag team match going on, first of all, you got 4 guys. You got a referee 5, And then if you got managers, that's 7 people trying to work together. And all of you trying to put it together to end out with a good ending for a great story that you're trying to tell. And I felt like me and Dale were excellent at that product of doing that. And that's what made us what we were and who we were. And that's why we were good at. We were easy to get along with, but we also knew how to create a story for a tag team match. I was the little man that sold, and Dale was the big man that got tagged, and then it just worked, and it just worked great. And the Stars and Stripes USA, and off we went.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember when y'all used to fight Harlem Heat back and forth. Y'all had some great contests with Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie Ray on David Saturday Night. Those were the days.
Unbelievable. Those were the two, without a doubt. Those were the two, and I know Dale will agree. Those were the two, without a shadow of a doubt, that were the best. Harlem Heat and Pretty Wonderful. Those. Dale, did you ever wrestle with the Hollywood Blondes?
No, we didn't. The only time, as a matter of fact, the only time I ever worked with Austin, you and I, out on the road, worked a couple of matches against. They threw him and what's the guy's name from England?
William
Regal together. Yeah, and we worked Regal and Austin in a couple of tag matches. I know one of them was in Denver, and I can't remember the other one was, but that was the only time we ever even worked against Steve. But no, we never worked with the Hollywood Blondes.
The reason I ask that is because the three best ever all around of my whole career, you were part of 2 of, which is Pretty Wonderful, Harlem Heat. We had some of the best matches. But me and Scorpios was the Nasty Boys and Hollywood Blondes. We had some of the best matches with those guys. But let me pull an old tag team out for you, Dale, and see if you remember this one. Do you remember Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce?
Absolutely, I sure do. Wow.
Me and Scorpio had some unbelievable matches with those guys. I remember one of them, I get them mixed up, but one of them, the big kind of chunky one, was named Dennis. The one that had the good body, his name was Mark Canterbury. And They were called Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce. They were 2 of the greatest guys in the world. But me and Scorpio, man, went round and round with those guys a bunch and had some really good tag matches along with Austin and Pillman with the Hollywood Blonde gimmick.
Well, I worked against those guys. You and I actually worked against them. We did an outdoor show somewhere in the Atlanta area. It was hotter than blue blazes. And,
that's when the mat was all hot at Lake Lanier. I remember that mat being so hot it burned us.
Yeah, you couldn't take a bump because the ring was so hot. It was an outside show in July. Go figure that. And but then I worked against those guys later when I was working for the WWF. They were the Godwin twins, and I worked against them a couple of times.
That's right. They were. That's right. I forgot about that. They were that country gimmick up there.
Yep.
But like the
guys,
pig bucket, the pig slinging pigs, like they took care of pigs and stuff. I remember that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys, would you like to take a question from a fan? We have a fan who wants to talk to you.
Sure.
Okay. Welcome to the show, 404. You're on the air with with Buff Bagwell and Del Wilkes The Patriot, Stars and Stripes.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hey man.
Hey, this is Marcus. This is Chip, one of your friends.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm just fine. Dale, I haven't seen you in a long time. How you been?
I've been doing great. Thanks for asking. Doing good.
Yeah, I may have talked to your wife at one time about some of these guys going around here stealing that Patriot gimmick. I do not like people that does stuff like that. I like the way I see you guys and how you've worked over the years. You guys have put in a lot of time, even if it's about WWF or even some of the indie leagues around here. I call them indie leagues.
Sure.
But Marcus, with what you did for the longest time working in Georgia, in the Georgia area too, under Sammy Kent and other managers, you know, when you first went to the WCW, they started calling you a rookie. I said, a rookie? I mean, you worked, you know.
Well, you got to realize, unfortunately, you know, in this business, it's really kind of frowned upon. Even as much time as I had in the ring, it's really frowned upon on what happened to me as fast as it did. Because even though it took me only a year and a half, 2 years to make it, in the wrestling business, you know, that's not paying your dues. You know, paying your dues is, you know, sleeping in your car and driving from town to town, and you know, and that wasn't what I planned on. That ain't what I wanted. But I was a little bit luckier, or whatever you want to call it, in some guys. But a lot of guys felt like, you know, here's this young kid that didn't pay his dues. Little they know, I did do a lot more than they think. I just did it a lot younger. But still, I did it pretty quick, and so I got a lot of heat for that at first.
Yeah, you know, that also seems to be what's happening to AJ Styles up in WWE. You know, the same way. A lot of guys are just frowned on him, but he has done a tremendous job of, no matter where he's been at, and he's got that reputation out there, and you guys, both you guys know from experience, you've got to get that face out there, or you're never going to get to the big time. You're never going to get to the big stage.
No, and you're exactly right. Yeah.
AJ has definitely paid his dues. I can guarantee you that guy's more than paid his dues. He's well deserving of where he's at now.
Yeah, he really has, man. He's incredible.
Dale, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I was just wondering, have you finally got that thing settled with the Honky Tonk Man about stealing your gimmick?
Well, there's nothing to settle. He doesn't own the rights to anything.
That's right. I know that.
He told everybody that he did. Of course, you know, he's a serial liar, as is Tom
Yes.
Brady. They're fraudulent. They're liars. They're fake. They're imposters. They're lowlifes. And Tom Brady is just a piece of work. He actually will use pictures of me and sell them and sign them. He did a shoot interview a few years back. Now, really, why, I don't know. I thought you had to have a career before anybody would want to do an interview with you. But somebody did a shoot interview with him, and on the cover of it was a picture of me. He even now goes as far as a lot of the wrestling fans have gotten suspicious of him. So they'll actually ask him, are you Del Wilkes? And he says he's Del Wilkes. He's actually taken my bio, my career, my resume, and attached it to his lack of career and lack of resume. So I find him to be a despicable, disgusting human.
You know what? I came to gather over the years as I watch a lot of you guys when you put the hood on. I can tell from one character to another, and I know whenever I see the Patriot, whether they call him the American Patriot or whoever, the way I remember looking at you one time, I saw watching television, you had a jet black hair. I could just see the hair just kindly peeking underneath the hood there, and I knew when you hit somebody, you were using your left hand. Now all these other guys use your right hand.
Yeah, Dale's a lefty.
And I come right straight up there and I tell to your face, you're not the Patriot. Quit doing this. You don't need to be doing this because I know you're not the Patriot.
The Patriot's left-handed.
Yeah. I think I've spoken to you several times on Facebook, you know, not face-to-face, but through that media. I made some comments that I'm more than happy to back you up on your gimmick and try to make sure that if you find out or let you know where these guys are. I don't care.
Appreciate you doing that. I appreciate it.
Well, we want to thank you for your call, Chip. Well, thank you for your call today.
Oh, well, thank you, Brian. Nice talking to you, too.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yes.
Thanks.
You too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey, guys, I want to make a comment, if you'll allow me to, since this was Marcus's podcast and you asked me to come on and surprise him. I just want I want to say that I was very fortunate, very blessed to have a partner like Marcus Bagwell. You won't find a better friend, a more honest, a more loyal friend, a guy that's got your back, a guy that would give you the shirt off of his back, and a guy that was a true professional in every sense of the word when it come to his appearance, when it come to the way he presented himself, his workout, his ring work, his promos. The guy busted his hump to give everybody the very best he had, and he's done it for years, and he's done it well. He's a first-class guy. I'm fortunate to have him as a friend. I'm fortunate that he was my tag team partner, and he has gotten a lot of heat from a lot of the boys over the years, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. They're jealous of the guy. This is a good-looking guy, great body, great worker, great on the mic, great personality, great charisma, and these guys are just flat out eat up with green envy over that, and I was just very fortunate to have Marcus as a partner when I was in WCW.
Well, Dale, let me take over and say something and tell you, First of all, I can't tell you how much that means to me. So it means so much to me because it hurts. It hurts so bad, and there's no way to ever explain it except to somebody that's been there like yourself to have exactly what Dale Wilkes just said go on inside your body for 15 years, and one person was able to it was many more people, I think, behind it, of course, but one was able to really nail the coffin shut, and his name was Jim Ross, and it just blows my mind that I possibly could have as much heat to what Dale just mentioned as far as shirt off my back, humble, down-to-earth, good guy, try hard, but just because of just my looks and things like that may have got judged a different way instead of judged for who I was, like Dale knew how to judge me, and just with Jim Ross doing what he did by going on the round table thing and dogging me out and then acting to Steve Austin's podcast like, oh, I like Mark, and I just had a dirty, ugly job of having to fire him, but he also had the dirty little thing of having to tell a lie about my mom calling in for me, which is the craziest lie in the world, but it stuck like glue. And so, bravo, it worked. But to go that devious and that bad, but Dale, thank you so much for saying that. And it hurts to this day, Dale, what you just said. And I know you know this, just like you go through. Every gas station I go to, every social media thing I talk to, everything I do in life for the last 15 years, somewhere in the conversation goes, why aren't you at the WWE, man? And you can't say what you just said, because if I say it, then I'm a prima donna, cocky piece of crap. I got to just go, I don't know, man, and just play along with it. But thank you for saying that out loud for me as my friend, and thank you. That means so much to me, and vice versa. And I know you know that I love you. Always had a great relationship with you, and we had a great time along the way.
Well, we did, and it's a crying shame when these guys reached out to me, I guess last night maybe, about doing this. I got to thinking about some of the things that I wanted to say, and you just hit the nail right on the head. It's a crying shame that Marcus Bagwell, in some capacity, whether it's Marcus Bagwell, Buff Bagwell, or whatever you want to call him, it's a crying shame that he's not in the WWE, that he wasn't in the WWE any longer than he was. A guy with that kind of talent, a guy that was that over, and then somebody would just ruin his career and shut it down like that is a crying shame. The guy should be a multi-millionaire now for being in the WWE the last 15 years. He's as good as anybody there. He can do anything anybody there can do, and it's just a sickening shame that he never got that opportunity.
Thank you so much,
wow.
Dale. That means the world to me.
Well, Dale, we want to thank you, Dale, for coming on today as a surprise for Buff, and I know he appreciates it. And we're the
greatest surprise ever.
Well, I'll say very welcome, sir.
I want to say one other thing. And I'm going to go. Another great thing about Marcus it didn't matter what city we went to. this dude never got lost. I think you could drop him in the middle of anywhere, and this guy could get you to the building, and he could get you to the hotel, and he could get you to a gym. It was unbelievable. He had a built-in GPS about it that never failed.
Hey, this was way before GPS, wasn't it, Dale?
Wow. That's incredible.
All right, guys, thanks for having me on.
Got my car. You were going to the gym.
You're very welcome.
And we are going to tan.
That's exactly right. Love you, brother. It's good talking to you.
Thank you, Dale. I love you.
Talk to you later. Thanks, guys.
Okay, brother.
Take care. You too. Well, Buff,
wow, that was
I'm glad.
Oh my God,
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Oh man, I can't tell you what that meant to me.
Well, you're very welcome. I wanted to pull off a surprise for you, and I said I'll see if I can get Dale to call in. You know.
Buddy, you did. You did a great job.
Well,
Brian,
thank you. Go ahead, Jason.
Brian Buff, I just want to say what a real treat it has been for me today for having Buff and Dale on at the same time. I was a big fan of Stars and Stripes. I was about 9 years old when you guys did that, Buff, and it's just been an amazing interview. And I definitely want to thank you, Buff, and I want to thank Dale for coming on today. This is one of the best interviews we've had.
Oh, absolutely. And I do want to, I appreciate it so much, y'all saying that, and thank you for the surprise, too. And I also want to say, right now, I'm in the middle of changing over my domain name. I just wanted to let everybody know that right now, and I've successfully done so, but it has been a little confusing to the fans, but I want to go on record by saying that my domain name, my social media, how you contact me is Marcus Buff Bagwell. Everything is Marcus Buff Bagwell. Eventually, my website is not up yet because I've had to redo my domain name through some legal stuff. But it's going to be Marcus Bagwell, MarcusBuffBagwell.com. But right now, my Twitter, Facebook, anything you want on Buff Bagwell, it's Marcus Buff Bagwell. The only thing that's different is Twitter. Twitter is Mark Buff Bagwell because the letters are too many. But Marcus Buff Bagwell is how you find me. I'm easy to find, and contact me any way you want. I got a real good team right now that's helped me with my social media, and that's why I'm interviewing with you guys right now, and I got several more interviews lined up. I probably got 50 interviews lined up, which is great. Just trying to get my name out there again and stay alive, and just basically, to be honest with you, I'm trying to do exactly what Dale Wilkes said. I mean, first of all, you got to realize I'm just 46 years old, man. I mean, so Lex Luger was this age. I'm not picking Lex out. Pick out anybody. Me and Lex Luger are best friends. I'm using that. That's a compliment to Lex. But Lex was my age during Nitro when I was 30 years old, 35, 34. So literally, Lex was in his early 40s. I'm just 46 years old, man. I said, I still got a run left in me. And AJ Styles just got hired. He was at WCW and wasn't really a star because he missed the road. He missed the plane that took. I always explain it like this. It's like an airplane taking off with a bunch of superstars. And I even put myself not on that airplane. I caught the wing. And AJ Styles is one of those guys that caught the wheel, caught the wing. And of that WCW plane that took off of talent. And the airplane that took off was Sting, Goldberg, Lex Luger, super duper names that were our mega superstars. And I was able to catch a wing and be part of the team. But out of that, for them to jerk away, like Dale said, for them to take away from me 15 years out of jealousy is really, really, really sad, but it really, really, really hurts too. And there's nothing they can do about it to make up for that. That's something that's going to hurt for the rest of my life, and this is something I got to deal with on a daily basis, and I deal with it very well. But it's something that I wish I understood, and I never really will. I want them so bad to really come to me and say, here's what happened. When people ask me why I got fired, I don't even know what to say because I don't know why. I mean, I kind of do, and it's what Del Wilkes just said, but I really, really don't know why. And that hurts, brother. That hurts bad. And I got to deal with it on a daily basis. And with fans coming up to me and asking me, what happened? I really don't know what happened. I really don't know. I just know that I showed it to Phillips Arena, and they asked me to leave. And I was gone in 2 weeks from being in a company for 11 years, mid-card up the whole ride, to being Buck Bagwell, to being let go in my hometown. I got my $90,000 Jag that night, driving to my $1 million house that night, realizing that both of them were gone. I couldn't afford either one of them. And I realized I had to call my parents that were sitting in the stands and tell them to come home. Instead of just calling me and telling me, instead of just letting me go, they actually made me go to the effort of driving down to Phillips Arena, getting tickets for my family, everybody coming down with the signs, and Buck's going to be in Atlanta, and everybody's happy, to me calling my parents going, you guys can come home. And they're like, what do you mean come home? I go, I'm home. And they're like,
that's cruel, pathetic, and
it
shows they had no guts or no class.
It was pretty rough. It was pretty rough to do that to be honest with you, a 31-year-old boy that was getting told by everybody, and I say boy, I was a man, but in the business I was a boy still, but a 31-year-old man to get told to show up to the Phillips Arena, we got big plans for you, and you show up to the Phillips Arena with a bunch of lies and you get fired is a pain I can't tell you. I had to try my best not to cry, to get outside the building as fast as I could, not to cry. And then I started crying, and of all things, I see Chris Benoit and Woman were the last two people I saw. And Chris just had neck surgery. Yeah, Chris had just had neck surgery, so he had the C collar on. And he goes, Buff, why are you crying? And I said, man, at that stage, I got to be totally honest. I said, I just got fired, you know. And they're like, what? You know? And he's like, you got to be kidding me. I said, no, I just try and get out of the building as fast as I could. You happen to catch me, you know. But, you know, see you later, brother. Good luck, da-da-da-da. And I never saw him again. God rest his soul. But God rest both of us. But
Buff, I see we got about 1 minute left on the show before the switch is going to cut us off. But we want to thank you so much for being on the show today, and you know, thank Del Wilkes also, and glad we did Stars and Stripes reunion.
Good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it went really well. Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you so much for being on, Buff, and we wish you the best in all you do.
Before I let you go, one last question. How can I get a hold of this information to get a copy of this or hear this back?
Oh, I'm gonna share it on your timeline.
Okay.
I'm gonna share the whole episode on your timeline. And you can.
How do I get it?
Oh, how do you get it?
How do I
can.
Get it?
You mean you want a copy of the show?
Yeah.
Okay, I can make you a copy of the show if you want me to. I can do that.
If you would, that'd be great. Or even somewhere for me to go, and hear it back and tape it myself. If you can make a copy of it and somehow get that to me, that would be fantastic. If you'll stay in touch with me, Brian, and do that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, I'll do that.
I appreciate it. It means a lot to me because with Dale coming on this is actually one of the best podcasts. I mean, Steve Austin is you know, superstar status and got the #1 podcast in America. But still, for me personally, this has been one of the best podcasts in a long time, if not ever, just simply because of the surprise, the Dale, and what Dale said about me is meant so much to me, and I'd like to have this on tape if I could.
Okay, I'll make sure that happens, and I gotta cut it off because it's fixing to cut us off.
All right, y'all cut it off. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much, and remember, I'm Buff and I'm the stuff.